So you want to start a business, a charity, or a project in Nigeria. That sounds exciting. Perhaps you heard your brother's mother's friend say that there is one big lucrative opportunity that you need to basically join now, because if you don't do this one now, you don't have any other opportunity. That is not a good reason. That is not a good reason. I need to produce a t-shirt that says your brother's mother's friend doesn't count as a feasibility study. Your brother's mother's friend doesn't count as a good reason. Your brother's mother's friend doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay? I'm sure you've had the story before. Your aunt, your cousin, or even your parents started a business in Nigeria. And today we don't know what the business is. Perhaps for some it was an in-law that they trusted that ran away with all of the money, or they were affected by the exchange rate, or they bought land and the land doesn't currently exist. Even myself, my granddad had 4 plots of land in Lekki. Where are they? So with all these unfortunate stories, and they are many, who is starting a business in Nigeria? Who is doing anything in Nigeria? Many of us. There are many. We are many. Those of us who are doing business, doing charities, making a move in Nigeria. We are many. We're just silent about it. And I think it's time that we stop being silent about it. It's time for us to be louder. Those of us who are diasporans, who have done things in Nigeria or are doing things in Nigeria and it is working. It's time for us to speak up, because I'm actually just tired of the negative press. Like, it's actually okay. So in this video, I'm going to cover 5 mistakes that diasporans or people who want to start businesses in Nigeria make that basically leads to your lack of success. Sorry, you get used to me. If you're new here, hi, my name is Korede and I'm the founder of the Vimoye Foundation. It is a charity that is building Nigeria's education system in a way that produces problem solvers. I do this while also holding down a full-time job in London. I show diasporans how they can start their charity, their business, their project in Nigeria successfully. And I also help those who are looking to expand into Nigeria and navigate the unique obstacles and problems, but also opportunities. I post regularly, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to be part of those who skip to the good part. We are bypassing shige and going straight to success when it comes to doing business in Nigeria. If that's you, make sure you stick around. Mistake number 1, you copy and paste a Western solution into the Nigerian market. This one is very unfortunate because honestly, it shows a lack of understanding of business in general. I think those who do this tend to be those who don't have any real understanding of business. And that tends to be the case with many diasporans. Their first form of business tends to be the one they do in Nigeria. They haven't done business in the country that they reside, but they think doing international business is a good idea. Just so you know, the stats for going global, so doing business outside of the country that you reside, is low. Let me just explain before we keep blaming Nigeria, because that's the issue. Nigerians in the diaspora continue to blame Nigeria for the reason their business didn't work. Let me explain. The stats show that in an analysis of 20,000 companies in 30 countries, it was found that companies selling abroad had an average return on assets of -1% as long as 5 years after their move. After 5 years, this is companies, big boys and girls. When they do international business, their return on assets was -1%. It takes 10 years to reach a modest +1%, and only 40% of companies turn in more than 3%. So, just to be clear, this isn't a Nigeria problem. This is an actual statistical likelihood problem. The misunderstanding diasporans have is that because they once lived in Nigeria, or they have one affinity to Nigeria, one affiliation to Nigeria, that you were linked to Nigeria at some point, therefore it doesn't count as an international business. Wrong. The reality is you started an international business. It is not a domestic business, if it's not a country that you reside, it is an international business. You started an international business, and international companies struggle to do well with international businesses. So with that in mind, let's stop this propaganda that we're throwing out, this negative press, this negative information about why diasporans don't do well in Nigeria because Nigeria is corrupt, because Nigeria, even if any of those things are true, it is not the reason that the business that you started didn't work, or the business that was started or you heard somebody start didn't work. The reality is, statistically, it is very difficult to do business outside of your domestic country. Now, I am not here to tell you not to do it, because in fact, I really want you to. I really want you to invest in Nigeria. It is something that I'm majorly passionate about. I believe it's part of the things I really want to push. But I just need the facts to be facts. I need to get the facts straight before I want you to get that mindset, get out of that mindset of thinking that Nigeria is the problem. It is because it's Nigeria. If you went and started a company in Poland or in Brazil, and you had no previous business experience, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's not going to look too good for you either. Now, there are unique things in Nigeria, but I need this to be clear. It is not a Nigeria problem. It's a business problem. The second mistake people make is not being a student before deciding that you have become the master. And what I mean by that is that, have you been a student of the problem? Have you been a student of Nigeria? Again, the misconception here is that because you once lived in Nigeria 10 years ago, 20 years ago, therefore you are in a position to start something now. And I need people to understand that if you were in Nigeria 10 years ago, the way you think about Nigeria is outdated, regardless of how much news you listen to, how connected you are to Nigeria. You no longer live in that land, and things have changed. I remember growing up hearing about Nigeria and how, oh, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. And I had that understanding. Then when I visited, I realized that all of that was outdated. All of that wasn't true for the Nigeria that I encountered at the point that I encountered it. So it's really important that we stop using outdated information and become a student of Nigeria. This is a really good time to plug the Vimoye Foundation Skills Match. It is a free platform for those who are looking to build their network to become a student of Nigeria. It's an opportunity for you to connect with people within your industry. We have curated organizations that are doing great work out there, and we've asked them to put their projects on there. And we're saying diasporans, those who are looking to do work in Nigeria, should volunteer their skills remotely to be able to support the work they are doing based on your availability. It's absolutely up to you how much time that you can devote to any of the projects. But this is an opportunity for you, in exchange, to be able to build your network and build your understanding of Nigeria. Just speaking to people on the ground, having conversations will begin to change your perspective of Nigeria, but also build the reality of Nigeria, the reality of Nigeria today, rather than the one that is outdated or based on another person's experience. The link for Skills Match will be in the description below. So please make sure you take a look at that. It's super free. It is super free. But all you have to do is create a profile, and yeah, it is a really great space that I really encourage you to check out. Number 3, it is trusting the wrong people. Most of the stories that you hear where it all goes wrong, it tends to include one uncle in the village that you agreed to work with on the project. Hmm. Me, I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust the people that you know. That's actually not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that go where the expertise lies, not where the family ties are. That's Did you see that? Go where the expertise lies rather than going with family ties. This is business. If you're building, let's say, even a house out there, you entrusted one somebody that you knew because, hey, family. But the story goes again and again the same thing. You sent money, only half of the money was used to build the house. Now you're going to retire in a shack. It's just unfortunate. I don't want that for you. And so, as a result, if you're looking to do stuff remotely, if you're looking to build remotely, what you need to do is build expertise, build networks, and also just be street smart. The more you understand Nigeria, the more you'll be able to navigate it in a way that works for you now, the lifestyle that you're trying to build ultimately leads to your success. I met this individual who owns a farm out there. He works in the UK, owns a farm out there, and has CCTV on every single side of that farm so that even when he's not there, he can see what's happening at every given moment. There are things you can put in place to make sure that you don't just rely on trust. There's this, again, misunderstanding that this is a Nigeria problem. I'm not saying these things aren't true in Nigeria. I'm not saying these things aren't happening in Nigeria. Whenever we say something is a Nigeria problem, we make it seem as if it is out of our hands. There was once a time in the UK where if you have a shop and somebody is in charge of your shop, there's no guarantee that you'll get all the money from that day. In fact, you would not get all the money from that day. Then the invention of tills changed the game. And so suddenly, those who had shops were able to actually get the revenue from their produce. If you've been following me for a long time, you already know my thoughts on this, that it is not a Nigerian problem, but a human problem. The reality is most people do what is right because they do not want to deal with the consequences if they are caught for doing what is wrong. And you might say, Corey, there's like loads of people that like do what is right, like in the West, and they could easily get away with doing what's wrong. That's what we call conditioning. Over time, you've been told that if you do X, Y, Z and you're caught, this will happen. Even if the likelihood of you being caught is so low, because you understand that CCTV is there, then you're just not likely to do it. Over time, conditioning has meant that people now think they're good people, when in fact, society has trained them to do what is right. And so also, when you're dealing with Nigeria and there are no societal pressures of doing what is right, let's say that it's not within the framework of society yet, it is now your job to create that framework for the environment that you work in. Again, I'm not saying we shouldn't trust people. I'm just saying humans are humans. And I'm saying that just be street smart when it comes to doing stuff in Nigeria. Number 4 is ignoring Nigeria's unique problems, unique obstacles. When it comes to Nigeria, I've said it before, it's the same thing as the whole copy and paste idea. You have to take into account that Nigeria is a different country. You need to understand how the people think. What are the cultural thoughts that are that could get in the way of the solution that you are bringing? So, for example, I did a video on wills, creating wills, and let's say you want to start a legal practice out there, and one of the key things was estate planning. If you do not take into account that societally, making a will is frowned upon, or people feel very uncomfortable about the idea of making a will because they feel like making a will could bring about death, then you'll be hitting your head against the wall and not understanding why this business that you have started isn't doing well. When you understand the cultural thought process that underpin the industry that you're working in, it will go a long way. Another thing would be infrastructure. Think about the infrastructural limitations that might cause problems when starting a business. Light, electricity. If, for example, you choose to start a bakery, Do you know how much electricity is needed for the ovens to work? And on top of that, it can't stop halfway through. You can't put a cake in your oven and then halfway through the light goes. That's the end of your cake. So you have to now understand that the unique problem there is that you have to perhaps put a generator in place so that your cake will finish what it has started, you know? Ultimately, your job is to understand Nigeria. It is the same thing. I'm asking you to really take some time to understand Nigeria, understand Nigerians, understand culture. Don't go with your preconceived notions or thoughts. Don't go with your idea of how it should be like this or like it. That's not where we start. We start with how it is and understanding those things and catering to those things and understanding why things are the way they are. And the fifth and final mistake that diasporans or those who are trying to do business in Nigeria make is expecting that they're going to make money quickly. Nigeria is not a get rich quick scheme. Nigeria is not a get rich quick scheme. Nigeria is not a get rich quick scheme. I would go as far to say that Nigeria is the opposite of that. It might be a get rich slow scheme. And but we're talking about long term, kind of like sustainable, retire with it, good money. I'm not saying you can't make money young. I absolutely think you can. I think you can. You actually can do. It all depends on the industry. It all depends on many things. But what I'm saying is, don't think that if you start a business today, that you should be looking to see something happen in 6 months. You need a long runway. Yeah, it's a big mistake to go into Nigeria thinking that you're making money today. There's opportunities there, there's space there, and that as a result, you plan on turning a profit in the first year or whatever. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that don't go with that mindset, because if you do, you won't have any staying power. And that's when my camera stopped recording. Anyway, I was pretty much done. Hope you found my perspective useful. If you're looking to build your Nigerian network, make sure you check out skillsmatchbyvumuye.com, and don't forget to subscribe so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.